Hello everyone, this is actually a short excerpt from our podcast, The Weekly Planet, that comes out every Monday. If you're like, man, I wish I knew all the movie and TV entertainment news of the week, but I wish it was in a podcast that I could listen to every Monday. Mate, you're in a massive amount of luck. Leave a like if you want. You don't have to, but you can. And I'll be back at the end to, I don't know. We'll see. Spider-Man 3 has begun production, Mason.
Oh, my goodness.
Whatever that's going to be called. But that's not the only news Spider-Man 3 related.
Go on.
Fandom Wire broke the news that off the back of Doctor Strange joining the project in some kind of mentor, multi-dimensional role potentially.
Yes.
Both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire
Tobin himself.
have signed on reprising their roles as various Peter Parkers that they played in Spider-Man. How do you feel about that? That they're jumping into back in.
It's blown my mind.
It's blowing your mind in a big way.
Yeah.
So we knew Electro was involved. Jamie Foxx had confirmed that.
Well, look who's here.
And people were like, why would Electro be in that version of Electro be in this?
Yes.
But off the back of this, I want to talk about whether or not you think it's a good idea, but there's more news related to this. A representative from Sony said, those rumored castings are not confirmed.
And the news never lies.
Which to me says this is probably happening.
Yeah.
Because they would have just said, no, we're not doing that. But this, it seems like they must have locked it in, right? Or at the very least, they're close to.
I think so, yeah.
Because otherwise you just wouldn't say anything or you'd say no.
Yeah.
Here's another thing, though.
Go on.
Grace Randolph has reported as well that she's hearing that Tobey Maguire, real name, doesn't want more money for the role. He wants more screen time out of
more vegan nuggets.
More vegan nuggets. He wants more screen time out of the suit so he can really act in the film instead of like swinging about, right? And one of the ideas is to have all the Spider-Men swing into Times Square. So
crash into each other.
That's right.
Just 3 wrecking balls of meat whacking into each other.
Who's the strongest? We'll find out.
They all just tumble into the middle of the street and people just start screaming.
So here's my concern with this.
They time cop it. They also just sort of meld together into
like
just
a big
monstrous
gross
ball of flesh.
boogly thing. Yeah.
But it's shooting webs out.
Screaming.
It's
got 4 mouths for some reason.
Because people really like the scene at the end of Far From Home where Spidey swings MJ around and she's like, this was stressful and I hated it.
Yeah.
Except they're like, let's make everybody feel that forever.
All the time, yeah. Absolutely. They really did that. They swung him for a lot of that. That's a real swing. You get that sense in the movie. I watched it recently. Here's my problem with this potentially.
Go on.
If you're making a Spider-Verse movie, 2 concerns.
Oh,
maybe you.
That was quick.
Thank you.
Someone had a second concern very quickly.
Maybe you want to build the whole movie around the 3 of them being together and not a final act reveal.
Yeah.
If we're doing this, let's do it properly. You know what I mean? Let's have them interact for the entirety of the movie.
Well, at the very least, I think you need to have some clues built into the rest. Like if they show up at the end, that would be a fan service thrill for people, but it'd also be like...
Is this just Portals? Like the Portals thing from Endgame?
If you don't know...
But worse?
If you were too young to remember the previous Spider-Man movies, you'd be like, what is this? Or like, and it wouldn't work narratively. You'd be like, some more Spider-Man show up.
That's right.
Well, can more Spider-Man show up at the end of the next one? Is going to be 5
No,
Spider-Man?
Mason.
Oh, okay, right.
Well, that's my other concern.
Yeah.
Is because I feel like
this Japanese Spider-Man. He's got a big robot.
That would be rad.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like if you're doing into
Italian Spider-Man.
He's not real, but he's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not real, but he's real.
Is he not real?
Well, it's not a real thing. It's like a parody that someone made.
Wasn't it? Yeah. But he shows up.
Yeah, but he shows up.
Italian porn Spider-Man. He probably exists.
He definitely exists. I think they hinted at the Italian Spider-Man, who's got a shotgun, by the way, might turn up in the next Spider-Verse movie.
Good.
The animated one.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like with the X-Men Apocalypse problem, right? So apparently when Matthew Vaughn was on board with the X-Men movies, he wanted to do First Class, then do something in the middle, and then do Days of Future Past.
And team them all together. And it would make sense because they've met before,
That's right. Because then if you go First Class, Days of Future Past, where you bring back everybody, you get that big hit and everybody comes on board because it's all the X-Men that you love from across the generations coming back together. But then after that, you go Apocalypse and it's the 80s.
Well, at least we can all agree the third one's always the worst.
Yeah.
And it's like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So if you do this, what do you do next?
Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
You have to tell a completely different kind of story because you can't match the scale of something like this. So then you'd have to do like the Venom suit, Kraven the Hunter, Sinister Six. But also it seems like this could be the Sinister Six.
Might be.
Yeah. I think my concern with this would be is this a lot to put into it and you can't pull back necessarily?
I mean, you can. You could just be like,
you can,
yeah.
but-
I guess you can't go, well, the dimensional gates are closing because that would ruin the concept of the multiverse they just invented.
Yes, that's
but
right.
I guess, I don't know. You could lock those dimensions away, I guess, somehow.
Yeah,
You know?
but my point is though, I'm saying you could narratively, you could write it closed so it doesn't happen again. But the next story isn't as fun, is it? Because people are like, well, Tobey Maguire, where's he?
Right,
You know, do you see what I'm saying?
What you could do, though, is make the other two Spider-Men fundamentally unlikable. And so when they leave, the fans are like, oh, thank God.
Boo.
Thank God Tobey Maguire's gone.
Boo, actually.
Yeah, boo, actually.
Sequel to Love, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think that's a valid concern?
Yeah, I think so.
Because Sony have made mistakes with Spider-Man before. We know
I remember.
that. That being said, they've clearly got a way better grasp on it now.
Than we do.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, being folded into the MCU, it works way better. I guess the next play after this would be Venom, right?
Oh, and they have to build a convincing reason for Venom to hate Spider-Man utterly.
Something about photos.
Yeah, photos.
He took too many photos, all the wrong photos.
Yeah.
Plagiarized photos.
Yeah.
Photos, yeah, great stuff. So I don't know. That being said, great. Like I've wanted to see this and I will see it. I've also still like to see a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, but definitely not an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
What?
Wow.
Even though I like Andrew Garfield, but no thank you very much. Maybe that's just me. The other thing is, because it's filming so soon, we might be getting a teaser or a first look in December.
Oh.
So there you go.
I hope it's just the last scene. It's just three Spider-Men laying a punch into the big bad guy. And like, we did it.
We did it, and we're only in this scene. And you've seen it already. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was released? They released something like 67 minutes of footage or whatever beforehand. Again, lessons alert. Whatever. I know, that's just some concerns of mine that are probably unfounded. People will come back and say...
Or very founded. We're rarely wrong in this instance.
We've never been
Whenever
wrong.
we're cynical, we're usually right.
That's true. All right, you know what it's time for?
Pizza time.
Yeah.
That's a whole show. Next week, Halloween, did you say?
Yeah, why not?
My goodness, that sounds
I don't know
very
what we're
spooky.
doing. We'll just maybe pick some spooky movies we like. We'll talk about it.
Nice.
Whatever.
Maybe we could just talk about spooky experiences in our life.
I've only had one.
Whoa, there's a little spider there. James,
tell
we
it
can
next
tell
week.
ghost stories.
I have one.
Oh,
It's not a
ghost
real
story.
one, but I got one.
Oh, nice. I've got 100 real ghost stories that really happened to me. So, folks, get excited for that.
Can you narrow
101 ghost stories, 100 of which are real and one of which is fake and James's. That's next week on the podcast.
Hello, it's the end of the video. Thank you for watching the video. Again, podcast, linked below if you do want to check it out. Videos here all the time. You have to say subscribe to people. When you make a YouTube channel, I don't know if you know this, there's a blood oath. Make a blood oath with Susan YouTube, who runs YouTube, to always say like and subscribe. And if you break that at any point, even by accident, you fall onto a set of train tracks and you're swarmed by demons and dragged into hell. It's crazy that that's the deal and that people even have YouTube channels. But for me, you know, I'm just dedicated to content. I'm willing to take that risk. All right, goodbye. I'll see you in another video. I'm waving. You can't see, but I am.